Hi, welcome to another episode of That's the Thing 2 Overture. Is episode 13, and it is April the 5th.
April the 5th is a very important day for me because
Star Wars Day.
no, this is the day when Bandit the cat came over to live at my house. So this will be 1 year anniversary of having Bandit
Oh,
at
It's a
how
my
old is
bandit
house.
Bandit?
birthday.
We have no idea how old Bandit is. She's anywhere
Okay, like
between
most cats.
yeah, she's like between 2 and 5 years old. So we don't know.
Oh.
If I had to guess, I would say she's probably like I'm gonna say the middle like 4.
Yeah.
Because yeah, we got her. I don't know. Because she doesn't like she looks like a grown cat and she doesn't but she's still a little more active than you've seen them
Yeah.
when they get around like the 7 to 8 where they stop.
She's a little goblin-y.
Yeah, she still has goblin beast modes, but not all the time. She did very good yesterday. I mean, on Sunday when the windstorm knocked out the power and shingles
Oh,
off the roof, and we had to have a guy come over and hammer him back on the roof. And she hid under the bed while he was hammering, but then she came out when he was done, and that's pretty good for her.
yeah. Oh, Bandit.
I like
It's
Bandit.
that or lawnmowers. Once a cat gets used to lawnmowers, you're like, all right, they're chill now.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
she will
that's
never be completely chill.
Oh,
for the longest time, I thought Bandit was a boy cat.
You'd think
that is a
so.
very boy name.
Because apparently she was named Bandit because of Smokey and the Bandit.
That makes
Because
sense.
like the ex uncle, I don't know, whatever.
Burt Reynolds.
Yeah, the guy smoked a lot and he called himself Smokey and she was the Bandit.
Oh,
And that, but we just called her Bandit now.
yeah.
Even though usually I rarely call her name. Her name is usually whenever I'm talking to her either Stinkums or Beastlin.
I feel like Stink needs to be retired from the cat.
Well, I've never
Or
You
called
gotta,
her Stinky. That's too.
you
That's
Yeah.
gotta
that's
put
too
it up
much.
in,
But like,
no, you gotta put that name up in the rafters.
yeah, it is. That's
Yeah.
why I call her Stinkums.
Because she
Whenever,
loves steakums and they smell
yeah,
bad.
exactly. Because otherwise, it feels like I can't call her Stinky. I've called her like
Yeah.
a stinky cat, and then I have to correct myself. Like I can't do it. Can't do
Yeah.
it. So what have you guys been up to? Doing stuff, doing things.
Evo Japan was this weekend.
I didn't watch it. So how what happened?
Zato won. Guilty Gear. It was, man, grand finals for Strive was a steamroller. I think it was 6-0.
Oh, jeez.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a 3-0 spread.
And then you had some other stuff.
Arslan's Ash won Tekken.
I
They
saw
announced,
the Leroy trailer.
yeah,
Leroy.
Leroy and Asuka got
Great.
confirmed for Tekken 8.
I'm
They
glad.
haven't announced any new characters for Tekken 8. Like, Jun is kind of new, but she's like a legacy.
Wasn't she in like a Tekken tag tournament?
No, she's in Tekken 2, I think, and maybe Tekken 3. But then she disappeared here.
When's
She
Negan coming
died.
back?
Oh, I want Negan. I do want Negan back.
When we gonna get Negan? What about
I
this?
want.
What about Norman Reedus?
I want this to be the Smash Ultimate of Tekken. I want every guest character
Okay,
back.
I just thought of it. It would make so much sense because instead of Negan, but you can still have that same move set. You give it to Joel from Last of Us, but you give it from like Pedro Pascal Joel, so it can be on like the Xbox.
Oh yeah. TV show Joel.
Yeah, TV Joel. That's what it would be announced as, Television Joel.
But listen, when you hit your
I
critical
like
arc
Mike better.
and like you beat him to death, you just hear Jesus Joel in the background.
Yeah, no, that like Ellie's in like his win, like how like Leroy's dog is
Leroy's
there.
dog. Oh, she's such a good girl.
Like you have Ellie be like the
No, it's like
garbage
I
doing the
think you mean
same pose.
it's like Bedman and Bedman's younger
Bedman?
sister is. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I
I
can
love.
see that. We're like,
I
Then
like that.
she's just like hanging around next to him and like cowering, or like in RE4 you duck and then Kazuya Electric Wing God fists Ellie
Ashley?
instead.
or just be more
Ashley.
accurate to like The Last of Us, where you just have like Ellie just like going all around but not targetable. It's like you'll be behind the cover and she'll just be kind of like her AI pathing will be like intersecting with the zombies, but they don't notice her because that would make it annoying.
You know,
Okay,
I'd never thought of this until now. But did they make The Last of Us to try to like? Is The Last of Us just ripping off RE4?
Everything is ripping off RE4.
everything rips right
Everything,
Yeah, but,
everything
like,
that you're seeing
blatantly
from
so.
like no, it's more
Yeah,
that's
how like
The Last of
Every
Us is The
third-person
Walking
shooter
Dead.
from the 2000s.
Like The Last
yeah,
of
but this is also third-person shooter from the 2000s who's for like on an escort mission for zombies.
yeah,
Exactly.
it's The
Every
Walking Dead.
third-person shooter.
Yeah, every third person shooter has a little bit of Resident Evil 4 in it.
Isn't it Gears of War? I think the creative director of that was obsessed with the
Yeah,
game.
Cliffy B basically said he wanted to
Yeah.
make American Resident Evil 4. And then you had the climactic scene where Marcus Phoenix had to shoot. No, which was Dom? Did Dom have to shoot his wife?
Tom had to shoot his wife.
Shoot his wife.
Yeah, because I remember the giant bomb. This kept saying, "Oh, come on!" after it. That was the good old days.
And then everyone had a beard.
Yeah, you had
That
that
became-
everyone had 360 hair, which meant like everyone was a buzz cut because 360 couldn't do hair.
Yep. Also, quick tangent as we talked about, since you brought up Giant Bomb. Did you guys know Jeff Gershman got fired from Giant Bomb?
Oh, was he fired?
I thought
Yeah,
he just
was
left.
fired. No, he was fired. He was planning to leave after E3,
Oh.
and then he just got fired instead.
Wow.
It full circle.
One of the founders is like, yeah, you're out.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
Because I thought he was
Hold
like
on.
done.
I mean, he was. And, like, that's what's wild is, he was going to hang out through E3 to do that coverage and stuff. And then it's just,
Hold on.
nope, you're out of here, Gershman.
Did they say
And,
why?
He hasn't yet.
That
But
seems like
it's
some
definitely,
corporate shenanigans.
yeah, it really is. It definitely is like butting heads with them. And I mean, look, also like Brad, Alex, and Vinny all left too.
I get the feeling where it's like, and we can kind of dovetail it into the death of Electronic 3, where like
Yeah.
the video game kind of the traditional website / magazine is like way over.
Yeah, and no. I think that space is still useful for something. I do like the idea of Giant Bomb, even though I don't actually watch anything
Oh,
from it now.
I haven't watched
But, like,
Giant Bomb basically in years.
Like, I will watch the I listen to the Jeff Gershman podcast every week, and I watch his stuff, and I realized, yeah, I think it's just Jeff is what was the big pull for me. I wish it was Jeff, Vinny, and Alex instead of Brad, Vinny, and Alex doing Nextlander.
Well, I get to me. Oh, no, you go. You're talking.
I just have fears of Jeff Gershman has now been fired from like his last 2 games job, and now he's working from home, so that means the divorce is coming.
Oh no!
Oh
The final firing. The final thing. That would. There
And
you
just
go.
FYI, if you're interested in the Jeff Gershman home game show, Dave Lang was on it last week.
no.
I do
Yeah,
love me
always,
some
Does he
Dave
have,
always
Lang.
so
fun.
does he have like a Patreon or something, or is he?
Yeah, he has a Patreon.
Okay.
Then
Fair.
he's making a lot per month, but also he's running a business, so I think it's very easy to look at this and be like, well, gosh, Jeff Gershman, you're like rich now, and ignore the fact of like, oh no, he has like business expenses and shit to take care of with that,
Nah,
and retirement.
it's that old thing from like The Simpsons where they found like Principal Skinner, like how much money he was making, and they're like, he's a
Yeah,
millionaire. When in
yeah,
like reality, or there's a
It's
King of
like,
the Hill
oh,
too,
he's getting by.
where it's like, actually, yeah, but you didn't take out taxes and living expenses. You get some of that. But yeah, like a lot of like I watch This Week in Video Games, like the skill up thing. I like that. I like those videos, and I always listen to the Castle Super Beast, even though it takes me like 3 days because those things
Yeah.
are like 4 hours long. I
yeah. Jeff Gershman is like 3, sometimes 4, but
Yeah, I appreciate it because it's like, yeah, this is enough for me to go on my walk, and usually for the week I have like for 30
mhm.
minutes I'll have a plenty of something to listen to every day. But I also get the feeling it's like I can't I like back in the day I remember I was listening to like the One Up podcast, like all of the GameSpot slash Giant Bomb podcast, and then
I had
like,
like 3 podcasts I was like going through every like 2 or 3 days.
oh, it was
It
nuts.
was insane.
And I was listening to all of them, and now it's like I got like maybe two. I have the
I got one I listened to over an entire week.
Yeah, I have Castle Super Beast, and then sometimes if like things run out or something, I'll grab the MTG Goldfish podcast where they talk about Magic the Gathering stuff, and then I'm like, that's it.
I feel bad because I don't even watch Super Beast that much or listen to it. I mainly just watch the clips. I'm like,
Well,
okay.
that's also true. There's the thing about clips. Clips are interesting because there's ah man, I am way more likely to watch clips slash compilation than I am to watch like all of a stream
Yeah.
unless I'm doing something else at the time. Sometimes it works out. Like sometimes I've been playing like Terraria and stuff, and like yeah, I could turn on like someone's stream in the evening while doing some Terrariaing. I like Terraria. It took me like a session or two to figure out how to play that game, but once I did, I'm like, yeah, that game's pretty good. It's way more exploration based than Minecraft, and I think that's the key element to it. Where like you're going down into the caves and you're finding like weird caves in there. Or
That's one of those where I feel like I got it in some bundle at one point and never played it ever.
it also plays pretty good on a controller. Like there's a little bit of like adjustment, but once you figure out, you're like, yo, this game it's pretty good. And you get a grappling hook early that makes it feel like Bionic Commando, and that's always a plus. That's like Terraria's biggest advantage over Minecraft. Minecraft is more like creative, where if like you want to build like a cool house or a castle, then Minecraft is better. Or like have like your own little weird redstone factory. But if you want to like go into a cool cave and find like gemeralds, then I think Terraria is better.
Hmm.
But yeah, I've been enjoying that. I also beat Into the Breach once over the weekend. I finished it once.
I
Cat
gotta
has
get through
jumped
that.
onto the table. She likes doing that.
Hey, Bandit, happy
Ban-
birthday!
Bandit is here. She likes to jump onto the table and look out the window.
Oh, she's a good girl.
Then she hears something outside the window and she will run away at max speed.
Oh. So one of our cats, Molly, the youngest, if a phone or anything is playing on top of the table, she will jump on top of it to investigate the source of noise and then start trying to carry it away.
Yeah, likes to sit on stuff
Yeah.
to assert dominance. I understand. You always gotta do it. You gotta assert your dominance. Yeah, it's just
Especially if it's stinky.
yep. It's just weird about like E3 being dead.
Eh,
At this
it's
point,
not really that weird to me.
I
I don't think I've watched E3 over like the past 2 or 3 years. I've just waited till it was over and then watched whatever directs they have.
it's like that weird time dilation that I'm starting to feel when I'm like, but man, those giant bomb E3s were like the sickest thing ever.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like 2 years ago, and then you look and it was like 2011, and I'm like, oh no,
Oh no!
oh it's over a decade.
But that's not like regular time dilation. That's also COVID time dilation.
True, because well, that's like a bit of it as well, because it feels like to me, all of like the olden days video game stuff does not feel that long ago, and then you look at it and it was like Skyrim in 2009 or something.
No,
It's like,
you're
oh,
like,
no.
man, I love that E3 where Todd Howard's like 4 times the size, and you look back like, oh yeah, that was like 6 years ago.
Yep.
Like,
That's
holy shit.
like I'm like, when did I go to Las Vegas? 2016.
Mm.
Ugh.
I get those issues when I try to think about this is a little whatever, when it was like, because I always remembered my last relationship ended around Dark Souls 2. I'm like, that wasn't that long ago, and then I remember it was like 2014. I'm like, oh no.
I didn't have to help her move anymore, Kevin.
Yeah, I didn't. That was the best part. That was bliss. But yeah, it was like, because I'm looking it up, because I vividly remember like an X-Play review or preview of like Fallout 3 where Sessler was talking to Todd Howard about the game. And then I looked it up and it was like, yeah, that was E3 2007.
Yep.
Golly.
Yep. Time waits for no man.
Yeah.
The long ago.
I still think the best E3 that I thought was the smartest thing that they never did anymore was during the 360 era, where Microsoft decided to put all of the E3 demos like on the Xbox and you could just download them. So like,
Man.
it was like, hey, Capcom's showing off Lost Planet. Here's the E3 demo of Lost Planet. Just download it.
That's great.
They never
Yeah.
did that again. I just think it's just weird. It's like one of those old things where it's like it kind of like it basically, the death knell was when people realized where internet streaming / videos got good enough where you could just kind of post whatever. Like you didn't have to in the old time try to compete for like, here's our video game, we need to get it in the magazines. It's just like, nah.
Who pulled out first? Was it Nintendo or Sony that pulled out first?
I want to say Nintendo. Nintendo just started.
That's-
There was a while where Nintendo just said, "Screw it, we're just doing directs now."
Yeah, that's what I thought. But Jeff Gershman keeps saying Sony pulled out, and I'm like, I don't think that's right. Like, I think it was Nintendo, unless he means like Sony still did a presentation, but they weren't on the show floor first.
Yeah, because
That makes more sense.
I can see that.
Yeah, but like Nintendo was just like, no, we're just gonna do a Nintendo Direct, and we're not gonna have a presence anymore.
Yeah, because I remember they just kind of bailed. I think like the last Nintendo thing I remember, I guess, was when they were doing the. It was like the Link's Awakening remake or something. They had like a booth there.
Yeah. Well, did they? They may have. Okay, Nintendo may have not had presentations, but
Yeah, they may
still
have had like on the show
floor. because I think they had a Mario Odyssey one.
Yeah, I remember that one.
So that would make sense if Sony pulled out completely before Nintendo
Okay, I
pulled
could
out.
see that because I could see like
I can,
Nintendo bring like just wheeling out whatever they bring to like PAX or something and just putting it there. And like, yeah, here's some Switches with like Zelda on it. Which again, like they just now they're like, hey, here's this 10 minutes of Zelda. We're just gonna put it out in the middle of April. Here you go.
yeah, I still haven't watched that. It's apparently it's a very good trailer in that it's no story stuff. It's just like, oh, look at these mechanics.
Yeah, it is mechanics, but like part of the issue where I will say other people have said it better than me, but it's like by showing all of the mechanics and kind of how they interact, it makes it feel more like an expansion pack slash mod because you haven't seen like, are there big dungeons in this game? We don't know. We've seen like how all like your little like you can stick stuff together and combine weapons and like make little rafts and stuff, and that's cool. Like, don't get me wrong, that's pretty cool. But it's like,
Meat arrows.
I kind of I want to know if like I'll be in a dungeon and I'll need to make a meat arrow to make something like pull on a chain to open a door.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I have no basis for this, but something about this game makes me feel like it is the Twilight Princess. Breath of Hyrule's, Breath of the Wild's ocarina.
Go into, yeah, because there's, to me, like my gut feeling is that this game has had some serious like development issues. I get the feeling that something went way wrong and got scrapped halfway through.
Yeah,
Like, maybe not the mechanics, but something in there has changed from
Like, what do you think? Did you think they got like too ambitious and had to like roll stuff back, or
I think
even the idea of like one of the powers is now like you can just warp through the floor, like warp upwards through the ceiling to like ground level above you. Feels really like our dungeons were too obtuse and annoying to get out of, so we made this so you don't have to try.
yeah, and I think there's like the rewind, like it makes me feel like they had, all right, we want to put the time rewind, we want this like and this fusion mechanic, and that caused way like implementing it was fine, but like play testing and dealing with it caused so many issues. And like to Drew's point, it kind of feels like the warp to the ceiling is like, all right, we had to put in the developer unstuck command as a power because people were getting like, they're building their weird car and it flipped over and they couldn't escape it. So now we just have like the go to the top.
Yeah.
Like I have trepidations about that game. I also it's part of it because they only showed one like enemy type, and I feel like enemy variety was also kind of an issue with Breath of the Wild.
oh yeah, well they're like, well there were 3 enemies and then just 3 different types of that enemy.
Yeah, you had Moblin, you had the big one, you
You had lizard,
alien, wizard, and like robot. You had like 5 enemies. It's like, and I'm like, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it was a mistake to make a sequel off of Breath of the Wild, which is one of those. It's one of those. It and the original RE4 have like a special place of, wow, these games are great.
Yeah, and just like obsessively great.
They flip the script. They do amazing stuff.
And it's still wild to me that weapons are still like destructible. I don't understand.
Well, it's like the destructible weapons. Like, I feel like I'm looking at a game. Like, I have problems with Breath of the Wild And the sequel makes me feel like they're bolting more things on top of it, almost like the fusion mechanic, instead of like tweaking the stuff I wanted to be tweaked.
Yeah.
Or like I feel like I'm gonna get like yo, here's like yo, your weapons are breakable now, but like instead of getting like 3 fire swords and they all break, you could just fuse them all together.
Yeah.
But then
You
that
take it back
fusion
to
sword
camp.
will break. So now, like my fusion fire swords, I need 3 more swords, which I
Oh,
guess
now you can repair swords. They have durability. Oh, and then of course you can, like Kevin said, remake them into better swords.
yeah,
That's the next step for it.
I don't know. Like, I'm okay with durability. I'm okay with durability on weapons when it's like you're grabbing the Moblin spear and it's slightly stronger. Like Wind Waker did that, I think, where like you could like disarm an enemy and use its weapon against it. And
Yeah,
then
but it's like in that it's like one hit, but it's a big hit.
yeah.
And like in Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, you still have the like um Deku sticks that you can only hit with like one time or whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's
But
just
that's not the same thing as like your main weapon will just break and then you just won't have any weapons.
Yeah.
well then you
There's
get
there's a difference between having the giant sword and then just every sword you have breaking.
I haven't played Breath of the Wild, but doesn't the Master Sword, doesn't it even have restrictions?
Yeah, it does. It like burns out and then comes
Yeah.
back.
yeah, it has like a
Like-
timer.
Yeah, like that's dumb as hell too. You know what I was okay with? The armor in Twilight Princess that was invincible, but your money is just counting down the entire time
yeah.
you're wearing it. I'm fine with that. I don't want though like the Master Sword is on a timer.
I want the Master Sword to be powered by money. That's a better one.
Oh, that'd be
Hell
great.
yeah.
There you go.
Pouring cash right into it to defeat Ganon.
Well, it's just it to me the fact that every weapon is breakable is like one of the issues that I felt like was solved by Elden Ring, where like in Elden Ring every little dungeon could potentially have something really cool. Like that cave could have a cool hammer or a summon or something. And once you got that hammer, like yo, that's like a really good hammer for a third of the game. But I feel like if everything's breakable, like there'd be times you'd do a little challenge and then you'd get like a guardian sword and you're like, yeah, this is gonna make the next 2 encounters really easy.
Yeah.
Still gonna play that game at some point. Like even though I complain about it, I'm probably gonna play it.
Oh, it's still going to be fun no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's still gotta be better than Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword was really bad. I liked a few parts of it, but only a few.
I think it speaks wonders that Skyward Sword made Nintendo have to make Breath of the Wild as the next Zelda game.
Skyward Sword's hugest issue was when they made you go through all 3 zones the 3rd time. Like that was the part that was too much. Like you went through
didn't like that in Metroid Prime. I didn't like it this time either.
where it's like, and now you're doing it again. I'm like, I am done. I'm so done.
Look, I'll go through it 2 times, but that's it.
Oh, I'll roll through almost anything twice if you may. Like, listen, that's one of the best parts of Symphony of the Night is when the castle flips upside down and then you get to re-explore it, and you're like, oh, sick. There's new bad guys and new items, and sometimes there'll be a boss where there wasn't a boss. And you're like, oh, okay, that's great. Upside down castle rules.
But then what if the castle flips back over?
Yeah, then you have to do it again.
Oh, fuck this. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, I'd be
I'm
done.
done.
Unless it was a separate castle, then no, not even that. That's like too much. I think three times is too much. 3 is too much.
Oh, You got to play it in all layouts. You got to do regular, upside down, mirrored, and upside down and mirrored.
No, now it's to the side. So it's a little
Ooh,
different.
just a little to the side.
Oh,
Little
it's
nudge.
tilted. There's no flat surfaces.
Yeah, it's tilted time. Tilted towers, that's what it's called. You gotta be dropping on them. Do you have any, because of E3's dead, do you have any sick E3 memories? Or anything that, like, just stands out in your brain as that'll never happen again? I mean, the drunken Konami press conference.
Oh, gosh.
Tyler saying Girlwood way too much.
Oh, I remember.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, that cringe.
No, I'm so sorry. We actually did. I actually do feel bad about E3 being canceled now because I forgot that Konami was coming back this year to do a press conference.
Yeah, we were gonna get
and now that's
Konami
gone
again.
forever. 1 billion. 1 billion.
1 billion soldiers or something. Oh God, what was the? Do you remember?
Oh my God.
There's like the Ubisoft press conference where it was just James Cameron talking about Avatar, the first Avatar movie, for like an hour.
God,
Yeah,
no,
because
do you remember when Brian Michael Bendis just came out to talk about God, what was the comic? The one about like Alias, like the Alias comic for way too long and no one cared.
No, that like those moments of E3, which were always incredible when you're watching it, when like the people watching it started losing their minds. Like, what is happening here?
I remember the E3 event. Ubisoft was prompting their laser tag shooting game.
Oh yeah,
and they had a bunch of just assholes running through the crowd playing laser tag.
There was something always special about
mad.
the Ubisoft like press conference. It was like weird European cringe, and you'd always look at it and you're like, this is bizarre, but it was so like, it was cringy, but there's this hint of foreignness to it that you're like, maybe this is okay?
Miyamoto walking through the crowd with his Rabbids laser gun, while the other director was also walking through the crowd with their Rabbids laser gun for Mario plus Rabbids game.
Just weird.
That part of like every Sony press conference where they used to just talk about sales figures for like 20 minutes.
Every point in a Sony press conference where they're like, Hideo Kojima, and everyone would lose their mind.
Oh yeah, like where they did the Metal Gear reveal. I remember losing my crap whenever they did the Nier Automata trailer.
Oh,
the squares are always square press conferences are usually the worst.
Garbage.
But there's the one where they were showing that, and I was like, "What is this?" And then like I remember I felt so smart because I called it as soon as they showed like the robot standing on the. It was one of the like it might have been like concept art 9S, but he was standing on like the skyscrapers, and I'm like, oh, it's Nier, because I remember that story where they talked about how Kaie and them were going to the skyscraper tower, and they talked about the glittering towers, and they didn't know what they were because there was an abandoned skyscraper. I'm like, I knew it. I knew it.
I would have to say it was DMC5 or Monster Hunter World that I got actually hyped about.
Monster Hunter World is pretty good.
That was insane. I was like, no way, they're not doing it. They're bringing the greatest handheld game to the consoles to make it look good.
I remember all like the Killzone 2 demo that was clearly just like a CG trailer with nothing in there.
What was it was some demo, no, I'm sorry, it was a demo gameplay of a game for a Sony press conference, but I guess they just took the footage from the Xbox conference.
Oh, I do not. That feels like a Call of Duty or something.
They forgot to take like the X and Y buttons out of the demo for the video.
I remember there was one where they were doing like one of the Uncharted's, like 3 or 4, and it just hard crashed in the middle of the press conference.
I forgot about that.
Like Nathan Drake just fell through the world, and it just hard crashed. And I was
was it Killzone where like they were showing a trailer for it, and Sony just kept saying, "No, that's in-game footage," and like it's
Footage.
clearly not in-game
That
footage.
was Killzone 2. If you look at
Okay.
that Killzone 2 trailer, you're like, games do not look that good now.
That was Uncharted 4, I think.
Yeah, it was 3 or 4. I remember it was like one of the Uncharted's where it was like Nathan. It might have been 4 because it was the one where they were like,
No. They were like, check out the new PS4 gameplay, and then just hard crash.
man,
Oh man, that
like
was so great.
like it was great because
Oh,
everyone was
man.
watching video games and talking about video
Yep.
games. But like, there's this universal like strange like mix of incredible cringe but incredible excitement, and you'd have such a roller coaster of emotions.
And it's also like it's the live tweeting is what I'm gonna miss about E3 because
Oh
it's
yeah.
completely incoherent to go through and
Oh,
look
it's
at
so
that feed
good.
unless you're watching it live.
Yeah, when everyone's talking about like, oh man, look at that, and you'd be like, oh man, that actually looks pretty good. Oh, it was sick.
Some great moments. Holy shit.
Yeah, top E3 moments.
I'm gonna miss just game developers just lying to me.
Oh, every
Mhm.
Peter Molyneux getting on stage
Peter
and just
Molyneux,
lying to you.
every Todd Howard, every Cliff Blazinski talking about how great his game is, only for it to either never come out or die day one.
Oh, everyone gets fooled. Oh, there's like that joyous time in some nerd's life where you watch one of those and you believe it, and you believe everything they're telling you, because you don't know better.
Like
You're a child.
like The Last Guardian. The first trailer for The Last Guardian.
Oh,
It's like, man, that game, yeah, oh man, and it's from the Shadow of the Colossus guys. Oh man, and then it just disappeared.
Oh, man. Final
And then it just
Fantasy
disappeared.
15 just never coming out for the longest time.
Also, never forget the greatest Electronic 3 trailer of all time, which is Duke Nukem Trilogy.
Oh yeah.
Duke Nukem Trilogy, which apparently was just like the thing they had on like monitors at the booth or something, but they uploaded it to game trailers as a trailer. and I'm like, that it is a masterpiece. I will still watch that every year or so, and every time I watch it I'm smiling. It's beautiful. Oh, man.
A slow zoom in on his crotch.
That's the best part. And then it's just a bunch of stock photos of people with like like gas mask, and then like the gun with like the After Effects gunshot just wiggling. Oh, it's so good. There's like you'd always get either the couple before where people would be putting all of their hopes and dreams into like E3, where they're like, now they're gonna make this game. It's time. They're gonna make it good. And then they would either sometimes they would happen. Sometimes you would get your dream.
I kind of miss, which was like a sort of a newer thing that they would do at E3s, where they would just have influencers up to talk about nothing, and they would just fall apart.
Oh, the E3 cringe is just so good.
I remember specifically the EA Need for Speed one, where the guy just, okay, back to you guys. I'm like, oh, I need that.
I
need that in my
remember
life.
because you'd watch like the EA always happened first, and I will knock EA because they are basically evil, like every corporation, but not all of us. But it's like EA is unfortunate because their absolute biggest things they have is like FIFA and NFL, like FIFA and Madden. And that is not the audience for E3. But paradoxically, that is like what keeps their corporation going. Their company is like built, the bedrock is like Madden. So they're like, okay, we got to talk about this. And no one would care.
No, no one
I remember because
cares.
I remember there was one E3 where they were talking about the EA, and they were talking about like Madden and like Plants vs Zombies Garden Warfare, and at the bottom of their thing they had like time until we show Star Wars Battlefront 2. It was like, okay, nerds, here's the
Listen,
timer for the stuff you like.
look, just come back in like an hour, all right? We gotta
Yeah,
go through
we
this
gotta
stuff.
get through the Madden, the FIFA, and the racing, and the Need for Speed. But at like 3:30, we're gonna be talking about that Star Wars. That's what you like, right? There's something beautiful
The
about that.
the only downside is if this is canceled forever, uh, we're gonna lose a lot of
So,
what made the Devolver Digital ones fantastic. Where they're just
which
making fun of.
which is
Oh, go
also
ahead.
weird because Devolver Digital like was just across the street from the like LA Convention Center. So it's like they weren't even actually at E3. E3 was at
What was
Devolver Digital.
what was the memorial
Yeah,
center they
it's
had
like
at
the
the
Dave
the
Lang
Devolver?
Memorial, whatever.
Oh man.
See, part of and that's also it's like those long
Oh
giant
man.
bomb interviews / streams and stuff
Yeah.
because that's how you got
God, the
like
late night. God, so
those
good.
like that level of like when you have like
That
most people.
inside baseball. It's just inside
It was
baseball.
the most inside baseball. It is so when people were talking about Dave Lang and John Vignacchi and Jeff Gershman just goofing around and talking about the most dumb bullshit. Was it John Vignacchi that had like cum slut autocomplete on his like phone?
Yep.
Cum slut
Yeah,
happens.
you know, sometimes you
And
just
he tried to defend it.
you know, sometimes something just auto completes and sends in. Was that the one where like they gave away someone's phone number and it was just ruined?
Oh no, yeah, it was I think John Vignacchi, one of those, just tweeted out Dave Lang's phone number. Just
It's
tweeted
like
out
this is
his
it.
phone
Now it's
number.
gone.
I remember specifically. It's the one where it's doing the was it like a battlefield tournament or something, and they have a bunch of celebrities.
Oh, it was Snoop
And they're
Dogg
just-
wasn't
they're
even
just-
playing.
Smoke screen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got-
smoke.
Weed 3.
Yeah, that was Weed 3. Dude, okay.
Oh fuck!
Oh,
that was
man.
so great.
It was like I believe it was the McElroy. One of them was on there, and his greatest bit of all time.
I think Griff.
Was it? Yeah, it was one of them. I don't remember. But his defining moment was when he was describing the demo experience of the Sherlock Holmes video game. Do you remember that story?
I gotta play that.
When he was going into like the testament of Sherlock Holmes, and he described it as like a Eastern European woman going, "This is Sherlock Holmes in his testament," and at the beginning of the game, Sherlock Holmes died. No, they said, and in this game, Sherlock Holmes, he is dead. And he was like, "Wow, does that happen like at the beginning of the game?" And she's like, "No, it's like that's at 2/3 of the way through." And he's like, "What is this game?"
I love that.
And then they talked about him going back next year, and he went back to the demo, and like, "We are proud to announce a brand new feature for Testament of Sherlock Holmes," and it showed like the camera, and it goes right down to like the floor level, and they're like, "That's right, you're now able to play as Sherlock Holmes's dog." And it was just like, man.
Oh man, that's great. That's what I want. I just want to see some just amazing incompetence. Oh.
But the discussion was it incompetent? Because that experience is what got like people to talk about the Testament of Sherlock Holmes.
Oh,
Otherwise,
yeah.
no one would have cared. But
that's true.
But it worked. It worked so hard that I remember that like years, definitive years way back.
So, I'm gonna say it's not incompetent. I think that is very much the creators looking at like, okay, we need to tell people what makes this stand out from other Sherlock Holmes games. But I think the presentation, I feel like, is more of just a cultural barrier that caused it to be so bizarre.
Yeah, it's kind of like how I think it's like different countries have different like our cultures have different spoiler stuff. How like if you watch a Japanese trailer to something, it'll spoil the hell out of it.
Yeah, he'll just be like, here's the whole movie.
Here's just
Oh.
the ending fight.
Yeah.
Like you're like here's the Broly movie. We're just gonna show Gogeta doing the sparkle baseball thing in the trailer. Here you go.
Yeah, like, I'm still surprised as hell that Resurrection F that didn't spoil Vegeta going Super Saiyan Blue.
Yeah, just to spoil it all. Yeah, like never watch a Japanese trailer. Never do it. Except that Kamen Rider one. Or you can watch it in Japanese. That's what I mean. Like watch it unsubtitled.
Yeah, that's the solution.
Cause then you don't know what's going. I'm like, I don't know. I can't parse this. It's just cool. Yeah, I will miss E3. I remember there's many like that was always one of the best parts of the summer for me. Was that
And the nice part is Jeff Keighley has a summer game fest or something.
the
He's gonna
Keeleys?
start doing the
Yeah, we have the
Okay.
bi-yearly Keeleys, and those are always fine. Like it gives that flavor. There's still always that like maybe the dream can happen, but
and yeah, it's more so of just like hoping that it, I don't know. It even just seems like a nice marketing move for all of the publishers to just do their press conferences close together.
yeah, because
Yeah.
it's hard to describe like the excitement I would get to basically watch game commercials and like corporate people lie at me for a week, and I was so happy. Like E3 week, I was always so pumped.
Yep.
I was like, oh man, what are the lies they're gonna tell me this time? Are we gonna see a new Sonic game? Is this the year Kingdom Hearts whatever comes out?
What
They're a bigger
BS game is Square Enix just going to push out of its ass?
yes.
What's the new? What was it? Was it The Quiet Man?
Oh
Yeah.
fuck! Quiet Man.
Was it called The Quiet Man? Oh
It
man,
was the
Yeah,
Quiet
that
Man.
Yeah, it's the Quiet Man. Yeah.
the bouncer or what's the
The
one where you're like a
Bouncer.
ghost?
Soul Suspect, I believe.
Soul Suspect. Yeah. Now where am I going to get my news on that? Now that E3's gone.
Seriously, all those are just gonna not even fizzle anymore. They're just gonna
They will
be
they will
flat.
drop day one and then die, and then no one's going to hear about them.
Yeah, well, that would happen anyway. But
I
there's
mean,
those.
yeah.
There was always like, you would have the big dogs would always get like the first, but then you'd be watching like the G4 coverage because you were just, or it was either the G4 coverage, the GameSpot live stream, because you were out of school, and this is what you did. This is what you did. You hid in your like room, and you were just watching video game coverage all day, and because of that, you'd be like, some other game you wouldn't know about would come up. Like I remember, it was on the GameSpot when Greg Kasavin, who used to work there, now's the guy that's at crap, I forgot their name, but they do the Hades and stuff. Supergiant. Yeah.
Right.
And he was going in there and he was talking about, he's like, yo, there's this crazy game out there that's like really, really good, that it's not getting a lot of attention, and it's called Persona 3. Because I remember he was the first one. He goes, yo, this game's crazy. You got these anime kids and they're like shooting themselves in the head to summon demons. It's wild.
That's like the first year Cyberpunk was at E3, and like Austin Walker was just like singing its praises. And then I think the next year it was back again and had been released, and more people were like, "Man, it's just like it's so good." And then it dropped, and it was like, "Uh-oh."
The old E3 where like they give you that vertical. Because I remember watching that vertical slice of Cyberpunk, and it looked incredible.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man.
And then they had Keanu come out on stage too.
Yes, they did. That I think was that the one where like they also did Devil May Cry 5. That was when Microsoft decided that we're gonna have games now at our thing.
Yeah.
Because
like here's Devil May Cry, here's Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
Because I remember it was like the year before or something when Microsoft like now the Microsoft iconic legends, Master Chief, Car from Forza,
Lara Croft, who's also going to be on other platforms.
Yeah, we got and other.
I think was it Marcus Phoenix?
I think it was Marcus
Probably.
Phoenix. That makes more sense because I just wanted the thought it just said other in my brain.
What was that the year where they announced like Double Fine had been bought by Microsoft?
I think so.
Then they did the trailer for Psychonauts 2 and everyone got excited and then really confused at whatever the hell Psychonauts in the Rhombus of Ruin was, and it's like, wait, is this Psychonauts 2? No, this is like a side story. What?
No, it's VR. Like what?
Oh, remember all like the 3D and VR gimmicks?
Yeah. Remember how excited people were for just John Carmack with his like prototype VR rig walking around the halls of E3?
Do you remember? Yeah, it was like that one thing that was genuinely impressive, and it was so impressive I'm like, this will never work. It was John Carmack at the Microsoft thing, and they had like a table. He goes, when you put on your Microsoft HoloLens, your Minecraft world just shows up in 3 dimensions on that table. And you could like move your guy around and dig, and you could show people your stuff. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. But even though in my brain, I'm like, that's never going to work.
Never happening. It's never
hard. It's too specific.
They can't do it. The pixel density has to be so high, but also so small.
Also, yeah, you gotta be rendering it twice. Do you remember Butt Tumblr? The guy with the Google Glasses Butt Tumblr?
Yeah, he was just looking at a tumbler full of butts. Just at all times.
Oh my god. I'm having flashbacks now of like, man, that Xbox Connect.
Did you ever want to see what the bottom of a Xbox avatar shoe looks like? And it goes like this, and his thing just deformed. Just like collapsed in upon itself. Oh man. Never forget Robbie Drums as well. When Miyamoto went out there with like Nintendo like band or something.
Yeah.
I remember because everyone was expecting Nintendo to end on like a banger. Like a Metroid or a Mario, and then Miyamoto comes out there and they're just playing like poorly done the Mario theme on Wiimotes, and then like, and that's it.
Was it Wii Orchestra?
Yeah, I think it might have been Wii Orchestra. I remember that one because everyone was like, "That's it."
Or something. It had a dumb name to it.
That was your ending.
Oh my gosh.
The limpest ending. Oh, it was so. Oh, it's so good. He also, that was when Miyamoto got out there and he was like trying to use Skyward Sword, but like they claim, which I don't know, I had the issue playing in like my house, but the Wii Motion Plus just kind of didn't decide to work that day.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just like remember when the Wii came out? Where you like the storm when they announced the Wii?
Yep. God, what was it? The Revolution? No, it wasn't
the Dolphin and no, it was the Revolution. That was like the code name.
Just the Revolution? Because the Dolphin was the GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Revolution. Revolution X is the popular Aerosmith arcade shooter.
Yeah, every pizza arcade is by law determined to have Revolution X by Aerosmith inside of it.
Yeah.
That, but yeah, Turtles in Time and Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
can sub out Revolution X for Area 51. I mean,
Or
ideally you want to have
Carnival.
both. Ideally both for your like cheap arcade, but you need at least one.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Here.
And then either Turtles in Time or The Simpsons arcade game.
Yeah, like
Oh yeah, no, yeah, those are replaceable.
yeah, you could do that. I remember Chuck E. Cheese had the X-Men one, which is always
What's
my
that?
preferred of the
The
brawlers.
8-player one or the...
I think it was just the 4-player. It was not the big
Oh, I'm
8-player
trying to remember.
one.
Like I said, the Wii was the evolution. Which one was the Scorpio and which one was the Scarlet for the Xbox?
Scorpio was Xbox X-Bone. Was the X-Bone was Scorpio.
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't.
Those are much better names.
Also,
Than
that
what they got.
Xbox One came out, and then people were immediately calling it the X-Bone, and you're like, how did Microsoft not see this coming?
And then they did it the second time with the Sex Box, which is the Series
Everyone
X
loves
box.
that Sex box.
I love the Sex Box so much. They have to know. They had to know.
I
They're
feel
not
like
that
they
dumb.
do. I feel like it's like we're just getting memes as marketing.
Do you have
That's-
any E3
Look at
trailer?
TikTok. That's all that is memes as marketing.
Oh yeah, that's the plot line of Metal Gear Solid 2. We have entered it.
That's
Remember, Hideo
Wait,
Kojima
yeah.
will predict the future.
late stage capitalism.
Nah, Hideo
Yeah.
Kojima.
Sorry, what were you
knows.
saying about E3 videos?
I was gonna say, is there any E3 trailer or something that you vividly remember was the sickest thing for either a game or something that you never ever cared about? But like, yo, that trailer though.
Oh, I was gonna say tangential. The Legend of Zelda for the game
That
never
Space World one where it was like all serious.
Oh yeah.
out, where Link does that weird pose last week, and I have no idea how to even find that video. I'm like, E3 Zelda trailer. Well, yeah, I should have known that's how that was gonna play out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. It's definitely a CG trailer where I got
Yeah.
lied to. Where they're like, "This is real gameplay." Let me see.
One that came to my brain is I thought the trailer to Ninja Gaiden Yaiba was incredible.
Yep.
That game is trash, but
Yep.
like the idea of playing a horrible ninja that's swearing and just like this nasty, grungy ass hip hop song going behind it, I'm like, oh, this is good.
All right,
This
I
is
gotta go,
good.
guys.
All right.
So
Okay.
later
Well,
days.
We'll
We'll
call
run
it
down.
here in the comments. Tell us your favorite E3 trailers. Bye.
Oh wait, hold on.
All right.
Ah,
No, you can Bart, before we go.
I was okay. The one I remember, Metal Gear Solid 5.
The Metal Gear Solid 5
That's
trailer.
the trailer.
I also remember the Metal Gear, the Resident Evil 5 trailer where everyone goes, "Uh-oh." That was the one where it was
Oh,
Chris,
yeah.
where Chris was
Oh, no.
running away from the black people as they were
We're a little too
slugging
dark.
him.
We gotta fix this.
Yeah, I remember that one. I was like, oh, because people, that was one where I was like,
man.
oh, have you seen that Resident Evil 5 trailer? And it was like, oh, what is it? And you're like, oh,
no.
What I think they should do for Resident Evil 5 is they should make it the story, because canonically Sheva did go through like a Resident Evil event before Resident Evil 5. Like she says, like, no, she went through basically her own Raccoon City, and that should be the story. Yeah. I would love to see that.
I'd like that.
Like it's Sheva and Piers or whatever, and now they're doing their thing. But
what was the? Oh, sorry, I'm trying to think. What was the Halo 3? No. What Halo? It was some sort of Halo trailer where Master Chief had his.
Oh, he had the cloak
desert
on.
poncho
that's
on.
the one where
Yeah.
he had the cloak and he threw down the bubble shield, and the bubble shield like stopped a blast on it, and then it showed that it actually worked. Because that bubble shield actually worked in game. I remember it was one of the things. It was like the selling points as you threw down that bubble. That was like the Microsoft where they're like big, because they had Halo yet for the 360, and then you see Master Chief walk in with his like cloak on. You're like, oh, it's cool.
Actually, I've changed my answer. The original Last of Us E3 trailer.
I do not
Where you see-
remember it.
Oh, Joel's just brutally beating down guys, and you see like heads and arms exploding. And I'm like, holy shit, what game is this?
I could understand, especially coming from like Uncharted, where like Uncharted is kind of like your zany Indiana Jones adventure, and then you're
And now it's just grimy and brutal.
They took the complaints of Nathan Drake as a fun-loving guy, but he kills like 50 people, and say, what kind of guy would be killing like 50 people? Joel would kill, and he's the kind of guy that's like, yeah, he's gonna kill like 50 dudes.
Oh man.
But yeah,
No, yeah.
Rest
in peace, E3.
That image is still, I've been looking at it the entire time, where people make all those. It's like Quagmire and Shadow the Hedgehog.
We'll put that into the tweet.
Yeah,
when it comes out, because it's great.
They have like the Apple Jacks logos crying, and Muscle Man from regular show.
Oh man, I love every time there's one.
Oh, those images where it's just a bunch of like
they hit the towers.
It's just a bunch of random like cartoon characters in various levels of good drawing, and then various styles from like clip art to someone drew crudely are like they get me every time. Anyway, later days. I gotta go. Bye.
Bye.